A few more questions, Gooch. Let's see. You've played for a lot of U.S. men's national team coaches. You played for Bruce Arena, Bob Bradley, Jurgen Klinsmann. Which one of these coaches had the best player pool at his disposal?
Golly. The best, I'd say Bruce, because we were ranked number 2 or 3, right? No, I mean, they were great player pools for all of them. I think Jurgen definitely opened the floodgates for foreign-born American citizens, and so which kind of threw a curveball into the whole player pool in essence. So I think the player pool, while under Jurgen, was a lot broader. But even though it was broader, it still wasn't as encompassing as it could have been or should have been. I think the Latin influence in the team is still lacking, which is crazy because of the strong Latin influence that we have in this country, right? But on the men's team level, the players just aren't there yet for whatever reason.
When you look at the current player pool, which is Gregg Berhalter's player pool, how would you assess it?
Very promising. I would say that because of the progression and the growth of the modern player, I think individually, all these players are potentially better than all the other individual players from previous years. I would say what they're lacking is the collective ability that former national teams had.
That identity.
Yeah, they don't have they don't have that identity. They don't have that cohesiveness as a team. But if you take each individual player, you'd be like, oh, wow, this player is playing here. This player is playing here. They're there. They have the ability. They have the technical ability. So now how do you take individuals and make it a unit? And so that's going to be their main challenge.
You've played in 8 different countries. You've got 2 World Cups. You've got a Confederations Cup final, one of the best defenders to wear the jersey. What happened in 2018, in your opinion, that failed World Cup campaign?
Oh, man. Besides losing to Trinidad.
Is it just that game? Are we reading too much into it?
I mean, no, 100%.
Right.
No, I think it happened years before that. And you could break it down if you want, because if you take that Trinidad game and you replay it 10 times, the U.S. might lose 1 out of the 10 times.
Right.
Maybe 2, maybe on the lucky day. Because if you replay that game, we're going to beat them. So I think that the question is, why did we leave it until that game, the last game, to be able to qualify, which we had never done before, right? I think there were elements of that leading up to it. I think in 2015 or 16, I forget which one it was, we lost in the Gold Cup. I think we lost to Jamaica. We lost in El Salvador. In El Salvador, there were all these little hints of breakdowns, but then people have goldfish memory and forget about it once a victory happens. And they're like, oh yeah, we're great, we're on track after a victory happens. And then they don't understand that it's systematic, that we were underachieving at almost every level in our pyramid. Like our youth national teams weren't qualifying either. Right. The 20s,
the Olympic teams,
the Olympic team didn't qualify. And then it was only a matter of time that worked its way up to the men's team. And unfortunately it did. And I would have bet that we would have qualified at that game, and then, you look back at it and you look at the little chips on the wall, you're like trying to create a hole and you're just chipping away year by year. And then that one game was what broke through the entire wall. But I think it was building, and I don't think it was a product of that one game. Right. And if anybody says that, they're foolish, because they don't know what football is, or they haven't been paying attention to the games or the structure in previous years. But what that did is, it was a good slap in the face. It was a good wake-up call, a hard wake-up call, like in cold water thrown on you to get ready for school. And right now, it's the responsibility of the current players, the current pool, the current coaching staff, the federation, to rectify the 2018 issues and work towards that never happening again.
Talking about the federation, what can the federation do better? Is it a sense of them maybe changing what they do or changing personnel?
I think they've been changing personnel for a little bit. I think that's 2 presidents in the matter of what, 4 years, 3 years, something like that. It's a lot, and I know that they've been getting a lot of stick and a lot of negative commentary here and there. And I just think that internally they need to review things, right? And whether it be a personnel change, whether it be a structural change, whether it be a tactical change, but there has to be some kind of reform in some way, shape, or form, from the first team all the way down to the youth system. You know, there has to be something in place that makes people want to get excited about, right, and get behind.
Absolutely. Gooch, man, I've had a lot of fun with you. I've taken up a lot of your time. I really appreciate this, my man.
No, I appreciate it, man. It's not every day you get interviewed by Aquaman, and I'm really looking
Khal Drago.
Yeah, seriously, man. This has been great, man. This has been unbelievable, and I wait for another 10 years before you call me to interview me again.
If you're ever out in LA, once things get back to normal, you got a place out here, my man.
Amen. Thank you, brother.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.